Nice.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Casual Sports Podcast. I was seeing how long it would take for somebody else to say something if I didn't start the show off. But as always, I'm Alek, Koberna, the weirdo in the middle, still Matt Morrison, and Mike Wolfgang over there on the far side edge. Got the backwards hats on the sides. No hat man in the middle, apparently, today. That's how we're rolling things. Got to keep it balanced down here.
I usually have the hat in the front. You guys are normally the ones with them backwards.
And, of course, he ruins it, so he loses the middle spot.
He has a dark hat. Put it back in the middle.
What's that?
Actually, no. Leave him on the outside.
Yeah, I don't want to be.
You're always in the middle here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a full day of things to get to. The NBA is loading us up for an All-Star weekend. Should be a great one. Things are going to start off tonight, actually. I mean, we're all the way here. I can't believe it's already the All-Star break. It felt like, just last week we were talking about, preseason odds to win it all. Who's taking the Eastern, who's taking the West. And now we're already here halfway through the season. And you kind of have a feel of who's going to be that team to make that final run to end out the year. And we got some exciting stuff coming up. And obviously the first part of All-Star weekend, I don't know. Sometimes it's really great. Sometimes it's awful. It's the NBA Celebrity All-Star Game. And I think this year,
MGK, boy.
I think this year could be really great. I mean, I'm going to read down the two rosters here. So for Team Neek, it's Jimmy Allen, Noah Carlock, Brittany Elena, Machine Gun Kelly, Dearica Hamby, Nyjah Houston. She's an Olympian professional skateboarder. Dearica Hamby is a Las Vegas Aces forward. Matt James from ABC's The Bachelor. Quavo's back in it. Ranveer Singh, one of the actors, is back in it. Alex Toussaint, Peloton instructors in it. And Anderson Varejao, former Cavs player, is on one of these teams as well. I mean, just breaking down that first team. They got some fun talents. I like seeing some of the Cleveland people getting involved in it since it is our All-Star game. It seems fitting that they should be our people to be in it,
Yeah.
Then
I thought you were giving the roster still.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. I was looking at something else here real quick. But if we go on the other side of this for Team Walton, Annual AA is in it. The mayor of Cleveland, Justin Bibb, is in the All-Star game. Kane Brown, Myles Garrett, the Cleveland Browns defensive end, obviously. Put him next to one of the greatest point guards in Cleveland history in Boobie Gibson. Daniel Gibson back in the house. Hasn't been a member of the team, I think, since 2008 or 9. So it's been a long time for him since he's been out there. Tiffany Haddish.
2013, Matt. I got you. I know you're looking it up.
Okay.
It was 2013.
Jack Harlow. Krista Jackson of the Harlem Globetrotters. Angelique Ramadive is in it. And Gianmarco Tamberi, the Olympic high jump champion in that. I want to see if he goes for a big dunk. Clearly, he can, jump it. I want to see if he can actually do it on an NBA rim, though. What do you guys think of this game? Who do you think is going big for the MVP, and which squad do you think is winning it?
Yeah, I like Team Walton. I like Bill Walton. His whole NBA career was just he was just one of those hippie guys. He was. If you look at him,
he's not playing though.
He was a hippie. Long hair, he had the beard, and he did weird stuff. I liked him. When the Celtics picked him up. He kind of transitioned a little bit out of that hippie phase, but when he was with who was he with, Portland or somebody, he was straight out hippie. He did weird things to be known for, and he's pretty cool. So I gotta go with Team Walton.
The other one's Team Neek, right?
Yeah.
Who's all on that team again? Just give me some.
Jimmy Allen, Noah Carlock, Brittany Elena, MGK, Dearica Hamby, Nyjah Houston, Matt James Quavo, Ranveer Singh, Alex Toussaint, and Anderson Varejao.
I don't know, Matt. This is hard because you got
you got Myles Garrett and you got an Olympic high jumper on your team.
Plus, and Boobie Gibson, baby.
Boobie.
That's my thing. You have a former Cavaliers
team. Harlem Globetrotter, don't forget. Walton is loaded in this one.
Yeah.
And not to mention the mayor of the dang city. The mayor of Cleveland's on Team Walton. I'm going Walton. You ain't pick against the mayor. Come on, he's got that thing rigged.
Bill Walton,
it's still
Bill
tough
Walton's
because
funny.
I mean, you try to look because who cares who wins this game, but you have guys you like on each side. You have a former Cav on each team. I have a singer I like on both teams with MGK and Kane Brown, but I guess I'll go the other way and Neek. I don't want to be the same.
Yeah, I'm going Walton, and my MVP. You know, I got to be taking Myles Garrett. That man is a machine. I can't wait to see
Oh,
what
by
he
the way,
can
did you
do. I
guys
mean,
see
he's
last
got like
night?
a 40-inch vertical, 6% body fat, and if you haven't seen him play basketball before,
I've
just go
seen
look it
clips.
up. It's insane.
Yeah, and
He
you know
looks
what?
like a beast on a floor. He's one of the monsters from Michael Jordan's Space Jam.
And he's going to be playing extra motivated tonight. Did you guys see last night? He was on the TNT halftime show with Shaq and all the guys, and Shaq bet him 1,000 points that he gets over, or no, $1,000 that he gets over 25 points. Charles Barkley bet him $1,000 for each point he scores, and Kenny the Jet bet him $1,000 for each rebound he gets. So he's gonna be
So everybody
tonight.
else has to get the hell out of his way, or else they're gonna end up in a hospital bed at the Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah, there's a lot of money on the line.
Yeah, I mean, but Myles Garrett, I mean, he definitely the favorite at this point to win it. I don't really know who else would go big. I mean, Boobie Gibson obviously can shoot it. Quavo's always fun to watch in it. I almost wonder if Hamby from the Las Vegas Aces maybe sneaks it out as kind of one of the underdog favorites. I mean, whenever you get a current basketball player in there, even, if they're not from the NBA over in the WNBA, I think just because they don't really get talked about as much, they come over here. I love to see the impact they can do against, guys that either have never played professional basketball, haven't played in 15 years, or haven't played meaningful basketball in 15 years like Boobie and Anderson. So I think maybe we see one of the WNBA girls take it. Even perhaps the girl from the Harlem Globetrotters. I think she could have some fun. I expect to see some alley-oops to Myles Garrett.
And bodying people down low.
Oh my God, that's not going to be fair, man. You put that big monster down there next to, oh God, who's
MGK?
Yeah, I get MGK.
Myles Garrett versus
Quavo.
MGK and Quavo.
Yeah, I mean, Quavo he's not a small dude, but you're small compared to Myles Garrett. I mean, can you imagine if you put, him on Ranveer Singh, an actor, Myles Garrett going up against an actor?
They're not even going to try.
No, he's going to put his elbows in the rim. If he plays like he probably could, he's going to put his, his elbows in the rims and have some fun with it.
Well, that's what I'm kind of interested to see is number one, how many people actually try against him. And I want to see all those bets that he made last night. If he actually gets over the 25 points, gets all the rebounds, gets all the points, I want to see that.
Yeah, for sure. So we make all our picks there. And our next event going on, as I change that to the All-Star Weekend preview, should put that out there that it's the All-Star Weekend in Cleveland. You love to see it. Next one up, though, for us, another Friday event here tonight, the Rising Stars game. This a little bit of a different layout than what we've seen in the past. So there's 4 teams now competing in 2 semifinal games. The winner of the 2 semifinals advance to the championship game to go up against one another. So your 4-team captains is Isaiah, Worthy, Barry, and Peyton, 4 NBA legends, without a doubt. And for Team Barry, led by Cade Cunningham, Dyson Daniels, Evan Mobley, Isaac Okoro, Alperen Sengun, Jashawn Tate, and Franz Wagner. Team Isaiah has Precious Achua, Desmond Bain, Sadiq Bey, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Jaden Hardy, and Isaiah Stewart. On Team Peyton, they got LaMelo Ball. Isaiah Stewart's a beast, man.
Yeah, he'll fight people.
For Team Peyton, LaMelo Ball, Scotty Barnes, Ayo Dosunmu, Chris Duarte, Scott Henderson, Bones Highland, Jonathan Kuminga, Jaden McDaniels, and Davian Mitchell. On Team Worthy, Cole Anthony, Marjan Beauchamp, Josh Giddey, Jalen Green, Herbert Jones, Tyrese Maxey, and Jalen Suggs. To me, I think maybe the most dangerous team, Team Peyton. When you put all those guys together, I mean, from Duarte to Scotty to Sunmu and Ball, and then Kuminga, that is a dangerous 5 guys to have out there. Although some of these guys are injured and will not be playing for that Team Peyton. They're going to be without Duarte, out Davian Mitchell as well. So Duarte and Mitchell will not play in that game for the Rising Stars. Those are your 4 lineups. What do you guys think out of that?
I mean, obviously, I want Okoro and Mobley, but I mean, some of those names you mentioned, Maxey's a heck of a player. I like what he's doing. So, I mean, Isaiah Stewart is too. I mean, everybody's known him for, he tried to fight LeBron James, but he's actually a good player. I mean, I watched that Detroit game where
He's a
Detroit
physical
actually beat
beast,
us.
too.
He's a Montrezl Harrell
Yeah.
type guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
fighting, gritty,
Yeah.
gritty type player.
And so is Cade Cunningham. Cunningham is a great player. He's going to be great. So,
Yeah, I really
we'll have to
like
see.
this Team Isaiah team with Precious Achua, Sadiq Bey, and Anthony Edwards and Tyrese
Yeah.
Halliburton. That's a
Halliburton
strong
is sweet,
four.
too. Oh, yeah.
Halliburton was really an underrated part of that Kings roster. He was buried in the middle of nowhere as one of their top scorers, but he was in Sacramento, so nobody really cared. This is a guy that can go big on any night. If these guys actually go out hard in this game, semi-hard, we're not expecting full, action, and obviously shorter lineups, shorter times, and, the event's a little different. But if we see these guys actually go hard all the way down, we're in for some exciting, young, athletic, fast basketball. I don't think you're going to see as much waiting around as you do in the NBA style of games. I think this one a little bit more street ball. We're going to see a lot of driving, a lot of dunking, a lot of fast plays, long range shooting. This is, at the end of the day, it's an entertainment game for the crowd. I think both teams are going to put on a show. You don't really see that much defense in the All-Star game. I don't think you're going to see it in this new format here. Maybe in the championship round, but this first round, these guys are going to be chucking these things from half court, and that's where LaMelo Ball gets really dangerous too for Team Payton. So the first round, you got Team Isaiah taking on Team Worthy. So Achua, Bey, Edwards, Halliburton taking on Cole Anthony, Josh Giddey, Jalen Green, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Suggs, that squad. I think out of that one, I think Team Isaiah's got a hard edge going into that game. Was my favorite to come out of that side of the bracket for you guys.
Mike?
Which team is the Mobley team?
Mobley's on Team Barry. We're going to talk about him. They're going up against Peyton here in a minute.
We'll go Rick Barry.
Yeah, it's your boy, Matt.
Rick Barry, yeah. The underhand free throw.
I hope we see Mobley put one of those out there. If he goes to the free throw
somebody
line,
needs to.
Yeah, someone's got to. Either him or Franz Wagner. I think it would be funny for Wagner getting the big, 7-footer out there to do it.
I like him too. He's actually having a good year.
Yeah,
but that'd be fun to see him pull up from three like that.
Yeah.
Oh God, someone shoot a
Barry
three
style.
underhanded. Yes. No, we gotta see LaMelo Ball go underhand. I know he's not on that team. Underhand from half court. The guy's got some strength to do it. I think it'd be.
I don't really care what team it is. Somebody's got to do it.
Right.
He's got to do it.
He's there.
It's just because he's there. He's on the sideline.
For Team Isaiah or Team Worthy, who you guys got in that first matchup?
Mike, go ahead.
I guess I'll go Isaiah.
Turn your phone off.
No, it's on again.
I know it's on.
Matt, what about you? We got
what team?
two Isaiahs. You going Worthy?
Who's on Worthy again? Is Suggs on Worthy?
Cole
trying
Anthony,
to keep track of
Marjon
these teams.
Beauchamp, Josh Giddey, Jalen Green, Herbert Jones, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Suggs.
Yeah, I'll go them. I'll go Worthy.
Okay.
I like James Worthy anyways.
Well, I like somebody switching it up here. And the second semifinal game, I think we're all taking Team Barry in this one. That's our Cav squad. They're going up against Team Payton, which probably should have been the championship game when you talk about who's playing in this game. I mean, for our squad, Team Barry, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Isaac Okoro, Jashawn Tate, Franz Wagner, Alperen Sengun, and Dyson Daniels.
Team's
going
pretty
against
loaded.
LaMelo Ball, Scotty Barnes, Ayo Dosunmu, Scott Henderson, Bones Highland, Jonathan Kuminga, and Jaden McDaniels. I mean, this is what an NBA All-Star game is going to look like 10 years from now. It's going to be the majority of the guys that make up these four rosters. Obviously that's why they call them the Rising Stars, but this is going to be what that's made up of in the next 10 years when you see our current legends that are in the All-Star game retire. This is the future of the NBA, and I think this matchup is going to show a lot of what those guys can really do going half speed. I think there's obviously not going to be that much exciting when it comes to tight competition, but I mean, it should be fun. The NBA All-Star game, even though it's really just kind of a defensive-less game, it's normally pretty fun. I mean, last few years it's come down to the final shots. I expect the same thing out of this Rising Stars challenge here between these two. So if we're all taking Team Barry out of this one, although I would love to see Team Payton as well, because
they're sweet.
Cavs guys, that is one heck of a lineup to see out there. And I think you pair LaMelo Ball with Dosunmu, you have a dangerous combination at the rim.
Sumu's dangerous.
We know LaMelo can shoot the ball from deep. He can drive it well. He's got a very similar skill set to Steph Curry, a raw skill set, I think. I mean, it's still very raw, and he can improve a lot on it. But I think his skill set kind of matches that of a mixture between Curry and Irving, really. I mean, I think that's a fair comparison. And I think you mix that with the Sumu's ability down under, I think that's an exciting team. But since we're going Team Isaiah versus Team Barry here, I think we're taking Team Barry to win the whole thing, repping the Cavs.
Oh yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
I don't need to give an explanation.
That's my team.
Those guys are playing. That's who I'm picking, right?
We're representing almost every event, so you got to keep going with it.
Almost. Well, next one up, another game. This one is part of the NBA All-Star Weekend. It's the HBCU Classic between Morgan State and Howard University at the Wolstein Center at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So it's the first event for Saturday. So this will actually switches over into college basketball for a quick minute before we head on back to finish out the All-Star Weekend. This game, I don't know. It's an okay one. The Morgan State Bears are 8-12. Howard's 13-10. I think I like Howard coming into this game. They've had a strong season. I think they're in a good spot to take the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. They're third place there, just a couple games back from Norfolk State and North Carolina Central's right ahead of them. I got the Bison to come out of this one against the Bears.
Is this a new event? I never even heard of this.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I don't know if it's new or not, but
it's Howard versus
when I was putting
again?
together the schedule, I went, oh, well, this is an event from the All-Star Week, and I'll throw it in there.
So it's Howard versus who?
Morgan State.
Give me the Bison.
I see this is a very entertaining topic to talk about.
Oh yeah.
I'll flip the other team. I don't know either of these teams, so I'll go against you guys.
Okay. You don't know Howard?
I just like the.
No, I do, but I don't know
Howard.
anything about him.
I know Howard. I don't know that other.
I just don't know anything about these teams, so
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, all right. Well, let's move on to some of the fun events for Saturday that everybody loves. Live from the land, the slam dunk contest.
Yeah.
In the late night, we got Cole Anthony, Juan Toscano Anderson, Obi Toppin, and Jalen Green representing here. And I think this will probably be a fun event. I think at the moment you probably have Obi Toppin, though, as the favorite. I mean, you saw what this guy could do in high school, in college. I think he's probably the favorite to take this. Obviously, the Dayton boy. Went to school down at Dayton. I think he's from New York, though. So I think he's probably favorite. I think you got to watch out, though, for obviously everyone in this competition. I like Toscano Anderson maybe as well.
Yeah, he's a solid player as well. And yeah,
I kind of like Cole Anthony a little bit.
Yeah, Obi Toppin's from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I think I kind of like Cole Anthony a little bit.
I like Jalen Green, too. Jalen Green, he's a heck of a player, too.
Toscano Anderson, though, from Golden State, I mean, he's been putting in some incredible work out there out west. I mean, I think he's just kind of getting buried in a lineup with all the other talents they have. But, I mean, clearly to be represented here in the All-Star Weekend, you can't really be a slack kind of a player. I mean, he's been an important role player for Golden State this season. Yeah,
and he really was even better last year. Like you said, the guys got healthy this year and came back, and he was big for them last year to get in the play-in. But, this event, I'm sorry, I don't get interested in it anymore. I just don't.
No.
I kind of stopped when
nothing against the guys that are in it, but it's just not entertaining. A couple years ago when Zach LaVine and those guys got in it, they weren't at the time, but that was one of the best of all time. Those
how about the one with
Blake Griffin going over the collar?
Yeah, but that was a while ago.
Yeah,
it's just the last couple years. It's just I know the stars don't really want to do it, but there's some better guys that probably put in,
and Larry
like
Nance
Miles
got
Bridges.
Hosed.
Yeah, Larry Nance got cheated out of that one.
Who ended up winning that one?
I don't know.
Aaron Gordon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Granted, Gordon had been, hosed out of the last two that he should have won. So,
yeah,
but again, I know some of the stars probably don't want to do it, but there's some better guys that probably could have put in that. At least maybe if they want to do it, like Miles Bridges. Like, could you see John Morant in this? That'd be sick.
Yeah, I mean, you go John Morant. I mean, really, I think the three guys you want to see go in this: Zion, Obi, Ja. I mean,
and Bridges maybe.
Yeah, and Bridges. I mean, I think when you look at what all the three of those guys coming out of college, I mean, it was kind of a coin flip who was going to go where in that draft. I think they have them all as those high-flying talents. I mean, we don't know what Zion can do at this point with the weight that he's gained, if he still has that high-flying ability. I'm sure he's got something. in the tank still. Whether it's gumbo or some springs, I don't know. But I think that'd be really fun to see if you get those 3 in there. But, out of our field here, I think Obi Toppin has a fun night, downtown Cleveland. I think he ends up taking it. That's going to be my pick in it, Obi Toppin.
Yeah, I'm going Obi Toppin too. Just because, I've seen him dunk. I've seen Jalen Green dunk, but Obi can throw it down. So
no one puts it in there quite like Toppin. He's kind of not been the superstar that New York thought he was going to be, but nobody ever is a superstar in New York. You're only a superstar once you get out of New York.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go Jalen Green.
You're going to go Jalen? Yeah, I think that's a good pick. But
I kind of like Cole Anthony, but he's a smaller guy. Smaller guys are kind of limited what they can do in jumping abilities and stuff in the air like Obi can. Maybe Jalen Green could probably throw him in that category too, but he's pretty athletic.
Spud Webb could dunk it.
Yeah, but what did he
Spud
do that
Webb
was like
beat
crazy?
Dominique Wilkins, his teammate, who was way taller than he was in the dunk.
Yeah, but
I'm talking about all the stuff they do now though, like between the legs, twisting around, 360s.
Okay.
Yeah, that reach of Obi Toppin is definitely going to give him an advantage when it comes down to that dunk contest. It always does. You always see the bigger guys in that championship, getting ready for the win.
Yeah,
Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard. Going big.
I like the way you said that, man.
I don't know. I think it's a Schwarzenegger accent saying Dwight Howard. So, well, up next, hopefully this one's a little bit more fun. They've reinvigorated how this one works. The Taco Bell Skills Challenge going on all at the same time. All these events are starting at 8 p.m. on Saturday night. This one, it's an interesting way they've changed this format for it. So it used to be just, a full court skills thing. They would run down the floor. It was kind of boring. It had its moments, but nothing was that exciting. What they've done this time is made 3 teams that are working in like a group event to go through this course that they have made and show off different areas of how they play. So you have team shooting, team passing, a team relay in which each player must complete the course, which has 5 skills in it. The team with the fastest time will win that round. You get challenge points for winning each round. So the first 2 rounds, which are shooting and passing, each earn 100 points. The team relay earns 200 points. And your top 2 teams after your first 3 will go into the final round, which is your championship between the 2 highest teams, in which they're throwing up half-court shots. I believe to try and make the most half-court shots in the time allotted. So, so it's the team that makes a half-court shot in the fastest time will win it. So if you get 2 teams out there that they're going to send their best guy up and make it, I think we got an interesting shot. So our 3 teams, the first one, Team Rooks. So the 3 rookies, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, and Josh Giddey. Oh, fantastic lineup. Can you imagine putting all 3 of those guys on a team where they could be in the next few years?
That'd be
next
sweet.
One up, Team Antetokounmpo. Matt won't be able to pronounce this one all weekend, so I don't think he's going to pick them. But you got Giannis, Thanasis, and Alex all coming out for the Antetokounmpo trio. I think that's really cool. They put them all together. I think they're at a severe disadvantage because neither one of them is hitting that outside shot. That shooting is struggling out of that lineup. I think that's fun to see them all together. I don't think they play that well. And then the final team Cleveland Cavaliers, Jarrett Allen, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley teaming up. I think that's the perfect trio for this event. What's that, Matt?
I wouldn't be picking. Not just because I can't say the name, but I'm not going to be picking them anyways. It's Team Cleveland.
Yeah, well, I think that's the one thing with it as well. It's just like, despite the fact that it is Cleveland, I also think this is the best trio to have out there for this event. Yeah. When you're talking shooting and passing, Jarrett Allen's a good mid-range shooter. Mobley can do it all around, and Garland can do it all around. And Jarrett Allen sometimes can even get out there to the three-point line here and there, sporadically. I think that's a great one. They all have good ball handling abilities, and they're all quick guys. It's really a perfect trio to put in here that match up all the skills. So I think Cleveland has a clear advantage going into this one at home.
Oh,
yeah, but I'm kind of tempted to I'm picking Cleveland, but it's a close second with the
rookie team.
Rookies.
Yeah, I like
that's
that
a good
lineup.
Rookie team.
Yeah.
I think they might have an edge with just all those guys are really good shooters. When you're talking about Cade Cunningham, that guy can go big on any given day. And, You pair him with Josh Giddey as well, who's really flourished this season into one heck of a player for Oklahoma City. He's a guy they got to make sure they hang on to during this rebuild and not let him slip out. Because I think this guy goes somewhere else, he's going to be one of those stars we look back on in 10 years and go, how did OKC let him go?
Yeah.
Granted, OKC is pretty used to letting talent go. So.
Yeah, they are. Oh, my God. They could have had the team for years. They could have been like the Spurs.
Well, none of them liked each other very much, and they didn't like the system. So.
I mean, they don't like each other. That's not OKC's fault.
Yeah. Next event up here, the 3-point contest. Desmond Bain, Luke Kennard, Zach LaVine, CJ McCollum, Trey Young, Fred VanVleet, Patty Mills, and the big man, Karl Anthony Towns in the 3-point contest. I hope they have, a shooting cart that can adjust to how tall he is compared to the 6-footers he's shooting against.
Yeah. That's why Zach LaVine's in the 3-point contest when he was in the dunk contest before, too.
Yeah, well, LaVine was in the 3-point contest last year as well.
Oh, okay.
But whoever wins it this year will be a first-time 3-point champion. No one else in this event has ever won it. There's a couple guys who have been competing in it. Young will compete for it in just the second time in his career. And 2 Ohio natives, and Luke Kennard and CJ McCollum, too. So returning to the land for the first time.
So CJ McCollum, he's going to be in it with. It was originally he was picked as a Blazer. Now he's coming in as a Pelican. Now, so,
yeah, the NBA website still has him in the Portland jersey too.
Yeah, I know. It's like that's funny. That's funny right there. Like the Pelicans, are like, hey, we got an all-star on our team now.
Yeah, I mean, whatever gets you there. Right now, Patty Mills is the favorite to win it in betting odds. Trey Young, a very close second. And I think they had LaVine and McCollum at third and fourth, Van Vliet rounding out that top 5 for who's expected to take home the crown in this one. So I think this is going to be a really exciting 3-point contest. I would love to see Karl Anthony Towns making it down to the finals.
Me too. That'd be sweet. He can hit them too.
Yeah, he's
big cat.
They don't just put anybody in here.
No.
Yeah, I don't put scrubs in. I mean, other than I didn't know Patty Mills was a favorite, but he was kind of the guy I was picking to win, and I kind of thought he was a dark horse, but then he said he's a favorite. But I kind of like Fred VanVleet is a dark horse in this.
Hey, he knows how to play in Cleveland. He has been here so many times.
Yeah.
I always think that's a factor. How often you've played in this arena, I think it can really impact your shooting. And when you talk about that, I mean, you don't really get many more appearances out of this group than Fred VanVleet all those years going up against Cleveland in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Yeah. Some of those were close. So,
yeah. And he had some big hands in those games too.
Yeah.
He was no small part of that Raptors squad.
The one year we swept them, I think it was one of the hardest sweeps ever because every game was like 2-3 points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't easy. Even though we beat them every time, it was not easy at all. It wasn't.
So, Mike, you said you're going Patty Mills to sneak this thing out?
Yeah, I didn't know he was his favorite, but that's who I was gonna pick.
All right, what about you, Matt? You going with one of the hometown boys or what?
I'm going Cat. Karl Anthony Towns.
Big KAT. All right.
It's tough when you're picking these because you have to keep in mind, like, how many times these guys are going to number one, they take 25 shots in a round. I think it's more than that now. So all them shots, and as you go on, you have to keep taking them and keep running around the arc. So it's kind of tough.
Yeah, but
it takes a lot of energy. Some guys like Cat, it might actually work good for him, Matt, because he doesn't use his legs that much when he's shooting. So he doesn't have to expend
using his arms.
Yeah. So that kind of works to his advantage. He's not going to be as tired. He'll have his legs underneath.
I think it would have been cool if they snuck Klay Thompson in here, though. Like that'd be cool.
I wanted Kevin Love so bad.
Oh yeah, Kevin Love would. I'd be picking. I mean, he actually might win.
He could.
He could.
But I'm going to go with Fred VanVleet was second, but I like Trey Young in this, man. I think all the talk about everybody else, this guy is still one of the best shooters out there. I mean, Houston's they've struggled a little bit this season. They've been up and down. But I think you just have to keep in mind this guy is such a talented young scorer. I think he's still my favorite to win this event. I really like Patty Mills and what he can do, but I think you got to give Trey Young his dues here. I think he takes it.
I think so. Well, I think he has a good opportunity as well. Like if I wasn't picking Towns, I'd be picking Trey Young. Trey Young can shoot. So
yeah, Definitely here. Well, let's go ahead and move on into the main event of the night, the All-Star game. Team LeBron, Team Durant. For Kevin Durant, his starting five, Joel Embiid, Ja Morant, Jason Tatum, Andrew Wiggins, and Trae Young. His reserves, LaMelo Ball, Devin Booker, Rudy Gobert, Zach LaVine, Chris Middleton, DeJounte Murray, Karl Anthony Towns, and Draymond Green. For the King, LeBron James, in a return to Cleveland as an All-Star captain. His starting five is this: Giannis, Steph, DeMar, LeBron, and Jokic. On the bench, he's bringing in Jared Allen, Jimmy Butler, Luka Doncic, Garland, Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, and Fred VanVleet. This is going to be LeBron James at a landslide.
Yeah.
I don't think Harden's in it, though.
He might.
I think Jared took his spot.
He's still
on the roster.
Yeah.
Even without him. Who cares?
And also, LeBron James coaches Monty Williams of the Suns, and Durant has Eric Spoelstra of the Heat.
Yeah, I like Eric Spoelstra, but I mean,
I got LeBron going big in this one.
Yeah,
that team.
Yeah,
they got. I mean, you look at the starting five, and
they got a lot more size.
4 of the 5 guys have won an MVP.
Well, I mean, they got a lot more size. You saw that. You saw Kevin Durant say that was the reasoning for picking Gobert over James Harden because they have more size and they're just better.
And obviously, I mean, you got Durant in there, but he's not playing. He's injured. So the one MVP you have on this Durant squad is out. He's not playing. They're going to get I don't know who
you need to get
these last 2 years. People trying to pick against LeBron James have put together some awful lineups. You got to remember, LeBron is so good at figuring out who can match with who. And for whatever reason, it just doesn't seem like anybody tries to pick, the good players against LeBron. He just goes, "Yeah, I want the MVPs," and they go, "All yours."
Yeah. I think it's gonna be cool to see, Chris Paul with Darius Garland, who is like very much a younger version of himself. I think that's gonna be cool to see. It could be, yeah. It could be.
I hope Garland wins the championship a lot sooner than Paul.
Yeah, me too. But,
no shade there to Chris Paul, but
Suns versus Cavs NBA Finals. That would be
all right. So you guys all going Team LeBron in this one too?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Cool. So I should go grab my LeBron jersey.
Yeah. Just remember
they got our boys too. So
they got our boys. Yeah. If the Cavs were on the other team with Spoelstra, I'd be picking them.
Okay, well, let's move into college basketball here. Rutgers and Purdue. Rutgers pulling off yet another upset. Can they do it again against the Boilermakers? We got 27 minutes left in this show. We got about 10 more games to pick from here, so we can go a little in depth into this one. Rutgers, they just don't seem like a team that should be winning these games, but somehow they are. I mean, what have you guys seen from this team? Because it's the team that on the season has averaged 68.4 points per game, 64.6 points against per game, field goal percentage of 43.9. I don't see
out of this a bad team that's winning
what it is.
They're not a bad team.
I think maybe the one thing you see from them is they have guys with that killer mentality. I mean, they got Ron Harper Jr. out there that does not care. I mean, he's got ice water in his veins, and it just seems like this team just has the guys that want to win. And I don't know where it comes from. I mean, it's seemingly out of nowhere. This team has just all of a sudden started kicking everybody's rear end and not giving two craps about it. And they're playing freaking phenomenal. I don't know what else you can say. I mean, these last few games, they have just been on top of their game, and it's not really anybody outside of their starting five that's doing it either. They're doing this with five guys, burgers and fries, and they're coming out with wins against top 25 teams.
What'd you just say?
Yeah.
That's
all I together. I went five guys. I went burger and fries. Yeah, that sounds
good. Fries.
I could go for some fries right now.
Oh man, me too. I can go for like a Dave's triple at Wendy's right now and their French fries. That'd be so good. Be so good. But
all right, what do you guys think out of this game? Can Rutgers pull off yet another upset? I know Matt's going to right away picking Rutgers, no question about it. What about you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They beat them the last time.
They beat them the last time, and I mean,
but it's hard to beat them twice. Good things come to an end. I'm picking the other way.
Oh really?
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's my opinion.
Wow. I'm surprised he flipped like that. I definitely thought you were gonna stick with Rutgers in this upset.
I mean, you can't beat every single top 25 team you beat. It's just gonna be hard. It's they have 2 more left.
They've beaten 4 already, Mike. They've beaten 4 of them already.
Okay, well, Matt, things come to end sometimes.
2 more top ones left. Why not?
They're gonna lose one of them, Tone, and I think this is gonna be the one.
Purdue and Wisconsin. No, they'll win those and then lose to Penn State.
Yeah, right.
Good.
This game is
that's what'll happen.
This game is such a toss-up to me. I mean, it was 70-68 back in December when Purdue was number 1. Harper went off for 30 points in one of his best games on the season.
Rutgers has gotten better, too.
Yeah, both teams have gotten better since that point. I mean, Rutgers at that point was 4-4. And Purdue was 8-0, and I mean it was a clear separation between what these two teams were doing, and then all of a sudden, everything you thought it got flipped up on its head. I mean, Edey had just 13, Ivy had 15. They were relying off Williams coming off the bench. It was a poor shooting night. They shot just 41%, under 30 from 3, and on the other side, Rutgers went 50% from downtown in that game. Led by Ron Harper, who hit 5 of them. This is a dangerous team in Rutgers, obviously. I mean, they keep finding these ways.
They're very hard-nosed. They're a very hard-nosed team. They're not just beating ranked teams. They're beating the heck out of them. They beat Illinois 70-59. Like, they beat them. Like, it wasn't just like a buzzer beater.
Points against Wisconsin. I mean, 21 points against Michigan State. Ohio State was the only one that's made it close. I mean, that was a 2-point game.
That's what I said last time. Like, Ohio State's the only one that made it close, and they're beating all these other teams. Now that I know Ohio State lost, but that kind of makes them look good. Like, hey, they got 2 points. They got within 2 points where Michigan State got blown out by 20.
Yeah.
They beat Wisconsin, too.
Mike, I want to agree with you so much that, this cycle it should be coming to an end. And, I mean, everything about it screams that, this should be Purdue all the way. Rutgers, they've had their fun. But, it was just like Purdue during the football season, remember? Everyone was calling them the spoiler makers. They were going 3 top 25 upsets in a row.
And they got blown out.
Ohio State wiped the floor with them. They went up against a team that was just better than them, and they got wiped. I think Purdue is the better team. I think Rutgers got lucky. It was like UCLA beating Arizona,
I don't know if Rutgers – I mean –
I don't know.
I'm giving them credit. They beat good teams, but I told Matt this the other day. It's the same thing with them. I can't predict these last 2 games that have top 25 teams. But like I said, it's the same thing with Purdue in football. They had a couple top 25 wins. They play Ohio State and get waxed. I'm not saying they're going to get waxed in this game, but I like Purdue to win it.
Yeah, this is one of those things. Broken clock is still right twice a day. They've had their fun, but it's time for the team that's ticking to get back on track. Plus, I don't think you see Purdue losing 2 out of their last 5 games to non-ranked opponents. I don't think that's something you're going to see out of this Purdue squad. I mean, they have had such a fantastic year. Their losses have been spread apart. They really haven't shown weaknesses against good teams. When they've had to go out against other top teams, that's when they've played their best basketball. I think they were underprepared for Rutgers, and that was in New Jersey. I think they were coming to that one. They overlooked their opponent. They got, upset. I don't think that happens again. I think Purdue comes in big and takes it.
Yep.
Okay.
It's at home. It's at home. I think Purdue takes it because of it.
All right.
Next game up for us, Auburn Tigers and the Florida Gators. This one tomorrow at 2 p.m. The Purdue game is on Sunday as well. So we've talked about that one first, but it's not for a few days. The Tigers and the Gators. Hey, we said to throw this one on here. Auburn, they're a good team.
They're the number 2 team. That's right.
Yeah, Matt, we have to look at this one because they're the number 2 team, and Matt, for some reason the number 2 always loses with him under the belt, despite the fact the Gators are coming in on 2 straight losses to Kentucky and Texas A&M. You almost have to look at this because of what's happened with Matt. He's the favorite to win this game. And
this isn't a joke either.
This is not a joke.
Florida.
This isn't. This is not at all. So.
This game is in Florida, too, and I think if there's anything to look at, it's a home game for the Gators. They're going to have that energy, and for whatever reason, Matt's had some sort of bad, juju or voodoo, whatever you want to call it, about his number 2 teams. And this is the last game of the week, so perhaps the streak breaks here. but I think I just got to roll against Matt, and I got to go Florida in this game to somehow pull this upset. I don't know how it's going to happen, but you know what? This has been college basketball all season, right? We get these upsets seemingly out of nowhere. Rutgers came out of, a cave over there in New Jersey, buried under 10 feet of snow, and somehow found out how to beat top 25 teams. Why can't Florida?
That's true. That is true. Mike, who you going?
I'm going to be safe and stay with Auburn.
No.
Matt,
you guys, I can't get out upsets.
Matt, you got to break your own spell here. You have to go Auburn.
All right, I'm going Auburn. I'm going Auburn here. I just think they're the better team, despite that. Every team I put at number 2 loses.
And that's, that's just not a coincidence.
Number 2, but
if this happens again, I will admit
there's something wrong.
There's something wrong.
Matt, if something happens at 2, you're not writing down a number 2 next week.
Okay.
You're giving me your top 9 teams and omitting number 2.
This happens again. I don't know. I feel like I have to do something if this happens again.
I don't know.
If you finish out these last couple weeks and finish out the season that way, there's just something wrong.
There's just something wrong.
Well, let's just say,
how many times does this happen?
I don't want to be a 2 seed.
How many times does this happen?
How many times? I mean, I think it's been the last 5 or 6 weeks in a row.
It's been consecutive too.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Has there ever been an instance where my number 2 team has won?
I'd have to go back and check, but I think the last time I did, I don't think so.
2 months ago?
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Well, considering the fact Matt hasn't had a repeat at number 2, I'm going to go with no. Well, okay, Purdue. Purdue was the last team to survive a week at number 2.
Oh.
Okay. 1 week.
Actually, they went what looks to be 3. They went 3 straight weeks at number 2 before dropping.
Okay. So that was the last time?
That was the last time, and that was they dropped out in the rankings. Let's see here. What week are we in now? This is week 23. That was week 17. So that was 6 weeks. You have been on a roll of dropping the number 2. Trying to go for number 7 here. Gators all the way. This is the only time I'll ever root for the Gators to win a game. I hate Florida. I hate the Gators.
I can't
stand that team.
I can't stand them at all. It is football too.
I like their logo.
They beat that team in a national championship game. I can't like
their
them.
logo.
I like the Gator logo. And the one person I used to work with, his son's an employee down there, so I go for him.
Don't matter. We got to move it on here. Keep moving. Princeton,
I'm just saying, Matt asked.
Yale Bulldogs. Yale ended up. Well, they still have that game that Matt and I talked about yesterday coming up on the schedule against Penn. If Penn upsets Yale, Princeton could potentially jump up. Pennsylvania or Quakers can jump up. So a tight spot here still for the top of the Ivy League. Matt, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about this Princeton team yesterday. I'll let you go ahead and take it here for this matchup.
Sweet. So maybe a few weeks ago, I know when Mike and I were talking about sleeper teams, I threw Princeton in there. They're a heck of a team. I mean, everybody's like, they're an Ivy League school. They don't do anything. That's bullcrap. These Ivy League kids can play. These are prep school kids that are recruited to expensive, to like boarding schools in high school, and then they get picked up by Harvard, Princeton, Yale. So if you get them in that Ivy League high school type of way, and they're a good player, they're going to end up going to schools like this, and they're going to be really good. And schools like this they mainly look at players from those schools, those rich kids that go to boarding schools. So it's going to be something. The last one I can remember, Christian Leitner went up through all these boarding schools, for scholarships too, for basketball. And, he wasn't the rich preppy kid either. He just was good. And these boarding schools realize that. When they realize that, they become good. And, then that attracts colleges like these around. I know he went to Duke, but Duke is still kind of like, it's a private school. It's not a university. But this team, they're a heck of a team. They are, what are they? They're 17-5. They're third in the Ivy League standings. But they could jump up here, like you said, if Yale loses to Penn. Penn would move to first, and Princeton could possibly move into second. So it should be pretty cool. I like what they've been doing. One of their players, what was his name? Forget his name. But
Ethan Wright.
Yeah. And there's a guy named, oh man, I'm gonna try and pronounce
Matt Aloko, Charlie Baggin, Darius Gakwasi, Max Johns, Garrett Johnson, Conrad Kiska, Ryan Langborg, Jalen Llewellyn. And
here's this guy. Tosan, you know what I'm looking at? His first name's Tosan. Tosan.
Oh, yeah. Tosan of Boomwan.
At Boomwan. This dude is sweet.
For which team, Matt?
Princeton.
Okay.
Tosan
This guy coming out of
Boomwan.
Newcastle, England.
Yeah. That's insane. That is insane. This dude's amazing. Now he plays great defense. That's what Princeton is all about. I think they where was it? I think I saw something here. They record like 15. Yeah, they record like 15 points off the defense. Like that's what that Boomwan or whatever his name is. That's what he did. You know, his defense led to like 15 points or something like that. Defensive steals and then transition, stuff like that. I like their defensive play. So yeah, I mean, you got to keep an eye out for them. Keep an eye out. You never know. We haven't had any Ivy League school really make a run in March. This team is going to be kind of close. You never know. They might win a few games. They might not, but you got to keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you wondering if you have looked into this Princeton Tigers, I don't believe Lei Adebayo is related to Bam Adebayo, by the way.
Let me look.
No, I was just looking at it. I don't see
You're just looking?
I couldn't find anything for any relations there. If anybody was wondering if they were looking at that roster at some point, don't believe there's any relations. But I'm taking Princeton in this game. I think they're a better squad. I think Yale had some fun at the top of the standings. I think they're taking back-to-back losses here, and I like Princeton. They've been a solid team, scoring 81.1 a game, allowing just 70. I think they're the better team coming to this one. I got Princeton.
Good pick.
I'll go Princeton as well. I was thinking about picking an upset, but
Well,
most of the time you got to go
steamroll through these next few games. So
yeah.
All right.
Well, maybe not steamroll. We got women's basketball. We're heading back into it. This one, Big Ten action. Women's Iowa Hawkeyes, 16-7 overall, number 22 in the country, going up against the Hoosiers of Indiana, the number 5 team in the country, 19-4. Iowa's coming off of a stretch. They've lost 3 of their last 5. This was looking like a good game, but I think Indiana's going to take the edge in it. I got the Hoosiers.
Yeah, Indiana, great team. I mean, they're in a top 5. They've always had a good women's team. So I like Indiana here.
Yeah, this is what Hoosiers basketball is supposed to be.
Yeah, and I just watched that movie last night. So it's not like the best basketball movie, but
it's good.
Not even a good one.
Alek hates it, but I love Hoosiers. You know, pass the ball 4 times before you shoot it, and then he takes that kid out because he keeps on shooting it. Like, it's just old school basketball. That's all.
Old drills and everything.
Yeah, I watched Coach Carter too. Coach Carter's another one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's tough. I like that. Mike, you going Hoosiers as well?
I am. I'm trying to find a game I'm comfortable picking an upset, but I don't think it's this one.
Well, maybe this one. I'll give you one. The Gonzaga Bulldogs, the women's Bulldogs team, 21-5, 12-1 in conference play. Battle for first place against the team out of Provo, Utah, at home for Utah, the BYU Cougars, number 20 in the country, 22-2, 12-1 in conference play. They've been dominating the competition. BYU just beat Gonzaga in Gonzaga back on the 5th. So BYU trying to take the season series over the Bulldogs. I like the Cougars in this one. Give me BYU.
This is still a difficult one to pick, Alek. What are you saying? Because it's
I'm
hard to
going
sweep
BYU.
a team.
Well, yeah, Gonzaga's not ranked. I'm giving you a chance to pull the upset here.
Give me them then. Yeah, let's do it.
You're taking the Bulldogs.
BYU.
Yeah.
BYU.
All right. Yeah, I was giving you a chance. I don't know what you're saying. You got a chance to pick it. I'm not going to make it an easy. It's never easy to pick an upset. That's why they're called
Some you can feel it, though.
Yeah, sometimes. Both these teams coming off of recent losses to the teams out of Texas. They got the number 15 Oklahoma Sooners at 20-5, 9-4 in conference play. They're going up against the number 6 Iowa State Cyclones, 21-4, 10-3 in conference play. I like the Cyclones here. Oklahoma, they've kind of been slipping up in the recent goings. They've lost their last two. They were in a double overtime win against West Virginia. They've been so close in their last 5 games. I think they're coming into this one exhausted. And I think Iowa State, on the other hand, they've had some dominant play. They've really they came out flat against Texas on the road, and they lost big because of that. I still think this is the better team in the Big 12. I got the Cyclones.
Give me the Sooners, just to be different.
Ooh, Matt's being different.
They're due.
I'll go Cyclones then. Make it Matt at the odd man out.
All right, well, we're going to go in now to the number 1 team in women's basketball, the South Carolina Gamecocks at 24-1, 12-1 in conference play, and they got the Lady Volunteers of Tennessee coming to town at 21-5, 10-3. The Volunteers were looking so strong in the recent goings, but they've had a rough going in their last 5. This game being in South Carolina is not going to do them any favors. And Tennessee's last 3 losses have all been road losses: 2 Alabama, 2 UConn, and 2 Florida. They beat Vanderbilt and Mizzou at home. I don't think coming off a loss against Alabama, a team that was 13-11, 4-9 in conference play, is going to give them any sort of confidence to ride into it. South Carolina has been so dominant this season. I got the Gamecocks taking another.
Yep. Me too. They're a dominant team. I've been looking at them.
Clean sweep.
I checked them out yesterday, and I'm like, wow, they're pretty good. So
usually are.
Yeah. Usually it's UConn that's always good, and they're still ranked. Like they're still in the top 10.
Well, yeah. I mean, UConn was on a streak there for 5 years. They wouldn't lose.
Yeah,
it was insane. Like I don't remember what the record was, but I thought they were over 100 straight wins or something like it.
Something like that.
It was one of the greatest streaks in the history of sports. I mean, for that UConn women's team. I think it was back-to-back national championships at least, if not 3 straight. Next one up here for us, though, we're keeping it in the women's side of things, but we're bringing it back to the hometown tonight. The Northern Kentucky Norse come to town at 17-6, 11-5 in conference play in the Horizon League, going up against our Youngstown State Penguins, winners of 3 straight, 20-4 overall, 15-3 for one of the first times this YSU women's squad has 20 wins in a season. It's been an absolutely epic year for them, and they're coming off wins against Cleveland State and Milwaukee. They lost to Green Bay, the team right behind them in the standings, in double overtime. I think right now this team is as hot as ever. Kentucky's coming off a loss to the number 1 team in the Horizon League, and IUPUI. They got wiped. I think Youngstown State brings in a similar level of domination, but the way they've been able to play this season, just 4 losses and 3 in conference play, to me that is screaming that these Penguins are ready to roll here. I think this is one of the best teams out there. Season. I would love to see these girls make not just a Horizon League championship run. They can take March if they can beat IUP.
Yes, there's also a March Madness for women too. People watching, they didn't know that. So
I'll definitely be watching YSU if they can make it there.
Oh yeah.
Oh heck yeah, absolutely.
I'll try to go.
Right? Gotta see what they offer us too.
I mean, they're having a special year.
Oh yeah,
it really is. And I mean, the games that they've played against top opponents. I mean, Green Bay double overtime, Cleveland State overtime, IUPUI overtime. So the top 3 teams in conference play, they went to overtime against. And not to mention, it was a bad game, but they were still fighting against Penn State back on December 12th for quite some time early on in that game. And Penn State handed them their first loss, in which they wouldn't lose again until January 16th against IUPUI. There was 1 loss during the year of 2021 for this YSU Penguins at the beginning part of the season.
IUPUI, I mean, they're a great women's team. Their boys' team is a little bad. But
I don't think they're doing too good this year.
No, they're not. They're not. But their women's team is a heck of a team. They're in first right now. So.
Yeah, I love what the Penguins can do, though, in this game. Obviously, I think we're all taking YSU. It would be kind of silly to pick against them.
I'm actually going to this game, so I'll be there.
Cool.
Tonight?
Isn't it tomorrow?
No, there's men's play tomorrow.
Tomorrow? I thought tomorrow's women's.
Are you going to the men's?
I don't know. I signed up for an event, and I thought it said women's.
You better get on that, buddy.
Yeah, YSU versus Northern Kentucky is tonight, Matt.
Well, it's a women's game. I got it for the 19th. The 19th. So
What the heck's going on here?
I don't know. I'll check it later.
Men's basketball takes on IUPUI tomorrow at 2.
Oh, okay. So it must be men's then.
You better double check.
I'll double check. That's no problem.
Matt's going to games tomorrow. I'm like, it's not. I'm looking right at it.
I'm looking. Maybe hopefully it's on my laptop.
Let's finish up the show with some NHL action. The Nashville Predators at the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. Really good matchups in the NHL tonight. We're going to talk another game here.
Yeah, there are.
Too, so quick picks. Both the both the Predators and the Hurricanes have kind of been on a slide recently. They haven't been playing great, as you know. Obviously, the Penguins took over first place in the Metropolitan, and the Hurricanes have kind of been on a slide in the recent goings. But I think you're really seeing the same thing on the other side of this. Out of the Predators, they've lost 3 straight now. They're 4-5-1 in that last 10. You know, they're still in a battle potentially for one of those top spots in the Central Division, but I think both these teams struggle. I like the Hurricanes, I think, a little bit more in this game, coming off an overtime game loss against the Panthers. They lost to the Wild. Last win came back February 10th against the Bruins. I think they're due for one, and I got to follow the algorithm a little bit onto this one. The Hurricanes like it. They're a team that's plus 51 in differential in the season. That is third place in the NHL, and they've obviously been a good team because of that. The Predators, they have just a differential of 12. I'm worried. They just don't seem like they can score very well. They lack offensive production, and that's kind of where my differential breaks, because they have a great defense that comes out of that, allowing just 138 goals, but there's still teams that have better defenses while scoring more. I don't think they're a team built for a long haul or a long run. I like the Hurricanes coming out of this one.
Yeah, me too. They're the other day I was saying it's either going to be the Hurricanes, Penguins, or Rangers in the Stanley Cup final. I think the champions.
That's not a reach to say that.
No,
they're all 3 good teams fighting each other.
They're all 3 good teams, but I just think the Stanley Cup winners are going to come out of the Metropolitan. Because I mean,
maybe
tough division, maybe it's just a pick. But I got your Hurricanes.
I was thinking about going Predators, but I'm not. They lost 3 in a row. Maybe they could change it up, but Carolina's better. And I think they're just going to show Matt how strong our division is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving over to our next NHL game to wrap out the show.
There's some good ones tonight.
2 more things. The Florida Panthers and the Minnesota Wild should be a great game. Panthers in first place of the Atlantic, Avalanche in second place of the Central. Both teams have been playing great recently. They're both very talented, but we got to go quick on this one. I'm taking the Panthers. I like them better.
I'm going to go to Wild. I'm going on a different side here.
I think I'm going Wild as well, Matt.
All right.
Well, that leaves us down to our 2 final segments here. Highlight of the week. Let's start things off, guys. What do you got here? Make it quick.
Gosh,
we got a minute and a half.
I'll just go All-Star Weekend this weekend. I don't even have one for this week. I know it didn't even happen yet, but
Matt ain't got one.
Senior night at Badger. That was a heck of a day.
Oh, how about your dunk call? That was sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Liberty taking home the MVAC, cutting down the Nets in their first playoff win against East Palestine. Great way to start out the playoffs.
Yep. Shout out Campbell, Matt.
So let's finish this thing off. Matt, this week's Meathead of the Week.
Okay, so what's his name? The Cincinnati Bengals player who was not playing in the Super Bowl, running out onto the field to celebrate. He was fine. What's his name? Vernon Hargreaves. He was inactive against the Rams, and he ran onto the field. Everybody thought it was a fan running out, and actually a fan did run out onto the field later in the game. I can't believe that. Yeah, they always do. But, but what are you thinking? Just happy to be there, celebrate off the field. You don't have to go run out there. That's Cincinnati for you.
That's the most meathead decision I think ever. I mean, who knows what that could have resulted in as well.
As soon as he ran out on the field, my dad's like, there's Meathead of the Week right there. I'm just sitting there laughing.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, fortunately, no more time to talk about it. 30 seconds and Power Hour takes over. This has been another week of the Casual Sports Podcast, 23 down. So many more to go. I'm Alek Koberna. That's Matt Morrison and Mike Wolfgang. We'll see you all next week.